The making of Osama bin Laden. A journey from wealth to war. Osama bin Mohammed bin Awad bin Laden was born in 1957 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He was the 17th of around 50 children of Mohammed bin Laden, a billionaire construction magnate whose family became close to the Saudi royal family through vast building projects, including the holy sites of Mecca and Medina. From a young age, Osama combined a privileged upbringing with a strict religious education, deeply shaped by the conservative Wahhabi interpretation of Islam dominant in Saudi Arabia. Despite his wealth, Osama preferred an austere lifestyle, showing a fascination with religious purity and an attraction to radical ideas. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, how America and bin Laden became secret allies. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan to support its collapsing communist government against local insurgents. For Osama bin Laden, then in his early 20s, this invasion felt like an assault on the Muslim world. He joined thousands of foreign volunteers flooding into Afghanistan to fight what they saw as a holy war or jihad. Meanwhile, the United States, driven by Cold War fears of Soviet expansion, found an unexpected common cause with these jihadis. Through Pakistan's intelligence agency, the ISI, the CIA funneled billions of dollars, weapons, and training to the Afghan Mujahideen. Ironically, these same fighters America armed would one day become its fiercest enemies. Bin Laden's rise, builder of roads, camps, and a reputation. Unlike many foreign fighters who stayed on the front lines, Osama used his family fortune to build infrastructure, roads, tunnels, and training camps for the Mujahideen. He became known not just for fighting, but for organizing and financing resistance against the Soviets. His network of foreign fighters, the Arab Afghans, slowly evolved into something new. A global movement built around the idea of jihad without borders. This was the seed that would grow into Al-Qaeda, the birth of Al-Qaeda, from national to global jihad. As the Soviet war neared its end in 1988, Osama bin Laden formally founded Al-Qaeda, Arabic for the base. Its goal was clear: to unite Muslims worldwide in a global holy war against what bin Laden saw as enemies of Islam, especially the United States. The Soviet withdrawal in 1989 left Afghanistan in ruins and under the control of rival Mujahideen factions. For America, the mission was over. But for bin Laden, the fight had just begun. It's a turning point. The Gulf War and bin Laden's rage in 1990. Iraq invaded Kuwait, sparking the Gulf War. Bin Laden offered to use his fighters to defend Saudi Arabia. But the Saudi monarchy instead welcomed hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops. For bin Laden, this was a betrayal. Infidels on the soil of Islam's two holiest cities, Mecca and Medina. His criticism of the Saudi regime led to his exile. Settling first in Sudan, he built businesses that secretly funded terrorism, and his hatred of America deepened into obsession. Early attacks. Al-Qaeda's war becomes global in the mid-1990s. Al-Qaeda began launching direct attacks on U.S. targets. In 1998, coordinated bombings of U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania killed over 200 people, most of them Africans. In 2000, a suicide attack on the USS Cole in Yemen killed 17 American sailors. Though devastating, these attacks barely hinted at what was coming next, an attack that would reshape the world. September 11, 2001, a day that changed everything. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 Al-Qaeda operatives hijacked for commercial airliners. 2 planes smashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York, causing the towers to collapse. Another plane hit the Pentagon. The 4th, United Flight 93, crashed into a Pennsylvania field after passengers fought back. Nearly 3,000 people died. The world watched in horror as the impossible became reality. A handful of extremists had struck at the heart of the world's most powerful nation. The U.S. response? War on terror and the invasion of Afghanistan. President George W. Bush declared a global war on terror, vowing to destroy Al-Qaeda and its Taliban allies who sheltered bin Laden in Afghanistan. In October 2001, U.S. and allied forces invaded. The Taliban regime fell quickly, but bin Laden slipped away, likely through the rugged Tora Bora Mountains and into Pakistan. The war, intended to be swift, grew into America's longest military conflict. Years in hiding, bin Laden's invisible war. While America rebuilt Afghanistan and hunted Al-Qaeda, bin Laden disappeared from view. Intelligence agencies searched caves, deserts, and remote tribal regions. Videos and audio tapes surfaced occasionally, with bin Laden praising attacks and urging new ones, but his exact location remained a mystery. The world imagined him hiding in caves, but reality was stranger than fiction, a twist. Found in a city, not a cave, after a decade-long manhunt, in May 2011, U.S. Navy SEALs raided a large compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, just a kilometer from a prestigious military academy. There, they found and killed Osama bin Laden. His death shocked the world. The man who had once commanded global terror had been hiding quietly in a suburban neighborhood, protected by walls and secrecy rather than mountains. The aftermath. A war without clear victory, though. Bin Laden's death felt like justice. It didn't bring an end to violence. Al-Qaeda splintered into regional branches. New groups like ISIS emerged, often more brutal than before. Afghanistan remained plagued by corruption, warlordism, and insurgency. In 2021, after 20 years of war, the United States withdrew its last troops. Almost immediately, the Taliban regained control of Kabul, returning Afghanistan to where it had been 2 decades earlier. The legacy of Osama bin Laden: hate, war, and endless consequences. Osama bin Laden changed the course of history. His war against America sparked invasions, toppled governments, and cost hundreds of thousands of lives. The conflict he started reshaped global politics, deepened divisions between East and West, and left scars that remain today. Born into wealth, he chose a life of violence. And in death, he left behind a world still haunted by the fear and hatred he fueled. Closing words. The unfinished story. This story is more than a biography of one man. It is a tragic cycle of war, revenge, and unintended consequences. From Cold War calculations to radical ideologies, from the caves of Tora Bora to the city streets of Abbottabad, the story of Osama bin Laden, America, and Afghanistan is a lesson in how history's choices echo far beyond their moment. And though bin Laden is gone, the world he shaped of terror, threats, endless wars, and divided societies lives on.